In 2006, Simon Pagenaud won the Champ Car Atlantic Championship for Team Australia largely through consistency, as he only had a single win at Edmonton but finished in the top 10 in 10 out of 12 races. For 2007, Team Australia moved Pagenaud up to their Champ Car team, where he would be a teammate to Will Power. Pagenaud was one of 7 rookies at the start of the season.
There you see race leader Alex Tagliani and rookie Simone Pagenaud.
And we heard earlier from Paul Gentilozzi, who was talking about the strategy, and this is the kind of leapfrog effect that you have if you come in early, stay out of trouble. But one thing that we have noticed is the Cosworth power to pass, that extra horsepower. Tagliani has already used it all up, but Simone Pagenaud still has 49 seconds, and Pagenaud is reeling him in. This is his very first Champ Car race. He's right on top of Tagliani.
There you see the rookie. Champ Car debut, as Jan talked about.
Of course, he is Sebastian Bourdais' protege, and in one of the early sessions, he outran him, and Sebastian was very gracious. He's very proud of him. This guy can drive.
I guess really where you want to use that, obviously, he can't really use it in the rhythm section, but if you can get through the chicane and he can be right on his tail.
Sit there and save some fuel. Long way to go.
That's Rob Edwards talking to Simone Pagenaud, and that would not indicate that he's wanting him to use power to pass. He's like, you got to drive to your fuel number.
Tagliani in the red and black machine, the race leader. Then Simone Pagenaud, a rookie. Gormundi, another rookie, is third. Then Catherine Legg is fourth. Will Power scored in the 5th position. There you see the telemetry on the A machine of Tagliani.
Pagenaud looks like it's a little bit better through this section of the racetrack. Tag makes just one slip up. Pagenaud's going to be there. But so far, these guys are both working the track perfect. See, Pagenaud gets it right up on this tail, right through this area, right through the slower stuff.
And again, we'll point out, Tagliani, according to our computer, has used up all of his Cosworth power to pass. And Pagenaud's trying to push that button, but he knows if he does, the engineers will be in his head.
Well, because he has to make it to the pits on a certain lap, and they just watch it so carefully. And on the dashboard, which is actually the very top of the steering wheel, it just gives him a constant readout of how much fuel he has burned and how much his fuel number is. Again, it's not that they don't have enough fuel. It's that if he can save a little, they can go one more lap before they pit.
And that's the rookie Pagenaud in front of Tagliani in that green and yellow machine.
So the Walker team has filled both of their team cars faster than the competition. One of those cars is way off song. You can hear a misfire, but boy, that was fantastic work by the Aussie Vineyards crew, Walker Racing. Excellent work. Oh, which car is that? That
sounds like that one right there. Let's listen.
Yeah, Simone Pagenaud. Oh, crushing.
Yes, that's right. Something is wrong on the engine. Yeah, 10-4. Keep running with it. I see it on telemetry. Keep running.
They don't get better.
No, they don't get better. Sometimes you can recycle. You heard that someone say earlier, recycle the ECU, that's engine control unit. That basically means reboot the computer. But generally when you have that kind of misfire, that doesn't help.
Tagliani right behind him.
Not for long.
So Tagliani makes the pass as they head for the chicane.
Feel bad for him here. He picked up the position in the pits and has no chance but to move it, keep it back.
You can follow all the exciting Champ Car action with Champ Car Mobile. Go to www.champcar.ws to download a live leaderboard, wallpapers, and ringtones to your mobile phone. Standard data rates will apply. So Tagliani takes the position, and Pagenaud is going to nurse it as long as he can.
If he doesn't get run over first.
Look out.
Tracy?
Yeah, Paul Tracy.
So Paul Tracy picks up the 6th position.
I believe got to think he's going to come to the pits this lap. I mean, he's way off the pace. He's just going to be in the way out there right now.
Settle down. Calm calm down. Drive back to the pit lane, come into the pit. Pits this time.
So when he says calm down, up.
He got wound up, but because he knows, he feels like things probably just about to blow or something. What do I do? I believe they wanted him to do one more lap so they can analyze the telemetry to figure out what part to replace.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, too, the team's got to understand he's getting run over out there.
Yeah.
So you're trying, you're as a driver, saying, hey, listen, I got these guys, I'm in the way, I don't want to wreck this thing. So yeah, he's probably a little bit wound up, but for good reason as well.
Absolutely. Catherine Legge taking advantage of it as well.
Now, if you're Derek Walker and company, are you wondering about Will Power?
Not really. It's an isolated. It could be any number of things.
Stop in the box.
Simone Pagenaud, the Atlantic champ from 2006.
Cosworth's guys will be there waiting for him.
Yeah.
Pit box, switch off, just sit tight.
It'll take a while.
Cameron.
Well, you can see they're getting work going immediately on the back of Simone Pagenaud's car. We're going to be moving over towards Derek Walker and Rob Edwards to try to get an update here in just a second and find out where they're going. And we're listening to the radio right now as well, boys.
We've got a problem with the engine. We need to fix it, okay?
That's a veteran voice trying to calm a rookie driver.
Yep. Complimenting him on doing a great job, and when you have some type of electrical / engine related issue, he's just got to be patient. It's not going to be a race he's going to win, but he may get back out there and get some more valuable seat time.
His teammate is scored as the race leader. Cameron, what are you working on?
Well, I've caught up with Will Power's teammate Simone Pagenaud in his rookie debut here in Champ Car. Not the way you're hoping it would go.
Well, yeah, I mean, what can I say? We've been doing a great job. We were right on the pace all the weekend. I struggled a little bit in the beginning of the race with the cold tires, but after that we're right on the pace, fighting for a podium, which is good on a rookie day. I think we'll be good contender for the championship. We just need to fix some reliability problem, and I think we'll be right there.
Today an engine problem put him out, and you'll remember that he missed the warm-up this morning with the fuel cell issue.
Difficult start to the season for the rookie.
Hey, Cameron, while you're there, find out if Will Power needs more fuel. Simone Pagenaud looked like he was head-on into the tires in turn 8.
Full course yellow, and there's the safety crew, Hamatro safety crew, going to the attention of the driver.
But the first thing they're doing, of course our view is blocked somewhat, but they're pulling the car back. So if there was a problem, they would go straight to the cockpit. They're more concerned right now at giving Simone Pagenaud an opportunity to get back going again. Looks like very limited damage.
And one thing about the safety crew, it's basically the same guys you see every week.
Right now, Sebastian Bourdais has less than a second lead. Simone Pagenaud in his third start in his rookie season after winning the Atlantic Championship a year ago. 12th at the season opener in Las Vegas. Yeah, he's solidly in the top 10 after cutting a tire early and having to make an unscheduled stop.
He's made 2 pit stops, but interestingly, he did not stay out. He decided to pit with everyone else. So he is back on the same sequence. So it's a case now, as we look at what's left for some of the drivers on the power to pass, that he is in the sequence. He's 8. So thankfully that yellow really helped him. He lost some track position, but now he's back on sequence.
16th, back on lap 14 after making that early stop, worked his way back up to 8th. And if you're not familiar with Cosworth Power to Pass, there's an extra 50 horsepower on tap, usually for 60 seconds. Available in 10-second bursts. There's a steering wheel button that these drivers can activate, get that extra kick. Some drivers use it defensively.
Let's check in on the Forsyth Index cars meantime. What's going on with Paul Tracy? He's cycled back up to 9th position in that car, number 3. Hey, on Wednesday on ABC, the summer's biggest new hit is The Next Best Thing. It's the search for America's best celebrity impersonator. The stars like you've never before seen them. It's all new, The Next Best Thing, Wednesday at 8, 7 Central, only here on ABC.
Now that's an interesting point, because we essentially said that because Paul Tracy had gone down a lap that he was out of it. Well,
not so fast, right?
Because Justin Wilson, who put him a lap down, has pitted and is now behind him. So if there were to be a caution, he would in fact be on the lead lap, and that strategy would have worked. However, if Paul Tracy now has to peel off and pit and there isn't a caution, he's going to go back being a lap down.
Well, you guys, you've been talking about pit strategies and what's been going on. I know that Alex Tagliani was a little hot when he came out of his pit so far back, but Paul Gentilozzi told him, hey, some of the cars short-filled. And going along with that, and right now we've been seeing Sebastian Bourdais pull up possibly a little bit more on Justin Wilson. Kenny Seawick, who's on the radio with Sebastian, said, we did what we talked about. Now run them down. Jan, if I was going to read through that, I might think that they might have short-filled the McDonald's car.
And Sebastian Bourdais, the championship leader, gunning for his 3rd consecutive win. Justin Wilson was on pole in the CDW 9 car as Bourdais blows by Simon Pagenaud, his countryman, a young driver who's a rookie in the series, and Bourdais has helped him quite a bit. Now they don't talk much racing, do they?
They talk as friends, but once they are in the same series, they don't talk about the race cars at all because they're on rival teams. But certainly Sebastian Bourdais made a phone call to Derek Walker, and that was really the impetus for Simon Pagenaud to join that team to win the $2 million Atlantic Championship and wind up here in Champ Car. So Bourdais is proud, certainly, of his accomplishments and his protege.
Pagenaud back in 8th, trailing another Frenchman, Tristan Gomendy, who's fallen to 7th in the 22 car, the pay-by-touch machine. Pagenaud lines up alongside the champion Bourdais on the front row.
Simon Pagenaud now in the other Aussie Vineyards machine. Great run for him as a rookie.
Pagenaud in 3rd, qualified 2nd. Last year's Champ Car World Series Atlantic Series Championship. Well, Simon Pagenaud came here this week with a lot of his friends and family. We talked to him about it.
Yeah, it's very special to have my parents here, my best friend, some very good sponsor from Belgium. So it's very enjoyable to seeing them here and see how much support they give me. So it's just really enjoyable. I wish I would have a good race as I had last year in Atlantic when I did the pole and finished 2nd. So we look forward for this weekend.
And the other thing that his friends and his sponsors have told him recently, they say, Simon, we can't see you on TV. So he's repainted his helmet. If you've seen him in previous races, he had sort of it matched the car. It was green and gold, as they call the Australian colors. But next time we see him, it has bright red. It's actually Ducati red. It's as bright as you can get on the red on the top of Simon Pagenaud's helmet, so that his friends and family back in France, and when they come here to Cleveland, can see it.
Very personable young man. Really made a lot of friends and fans last year when he won the Champ Car Atlantic Championship, and now good run here in the 5th race of his Champ Car World Series career.
Now keep an eye on Sebastian and the gap between he and Simon Pagenaud. Look at that. Simon Pagenaud has just done the fastest lap of the race, and visibly, we were talking about a moment ago, he wasn't in the shot. So Simon Pagenaud and the other Team Australia car is on it, and he's on blacks, Power's on reds. Very, very interesting split strategy for the team.
And these top 3 cars all stopped on the same lap, which was lap 28. Now, we had said this would be a 3-stop race, 4 segments, and you can go about 27 laps per segment, but with the number of caution laps we've had so far, that could change a lot as we get down to the end here.
It changed for segment number 1, but there's been less cautions here. Again, visibly, Simon Pagenaud is going to come put some heat on the man who opened the door for him here in Champ Car, Sebastian Bourdais. This is going to get good fast.
And you guys are talking about Simon Pagenaud, and something I definitely think we should point out is since the beginning of the season, he's gotten himself on a much better and more stringent training regimen, and he's been eating differently. He's been training quite a bit more, 2 hours a day. He says he is a much better driver in the car, especially as the race gets later. He doesn't get tired, does not feel fatigued. He thinks he's more ready to go than he ever has been.
Interesting, we have kind of have an Aussie Vineyard sandwich here with
McDonald's in the middle.
Yeah, with one beef patty in the middle here. Fine, this is going to be this is great. This is what we've been waiting for this year, because we had hoped, I'm saying as a fan that wants to see somebody give Sebastian a run for his money, is that Team Australia has now got him cornered. They've got one in front on reds, they got one behind on blacks, and they're on a slightly different pit strategy, and the Power saved a lot of fuel. This is going to be really interesting to see how it shakes out.
55 laps on the board, about 35 laps to go if we stay green all the way.
Wow, Sebastian Bourdais got off early.
Power stalls. Will Power does not get off the line. So far, another car has failed to get off the line. Power 3rd in the championship. Bourdais leads him over the hill through the chicane.
So it turns out the chicane is not the problem. It's the actual standing start itself. It looked like Sebastian Bourdais got away early. Power didn't even get going.
And Jan Heylen also stalled on the grid, so 3 cars unable to get going. Looks like the other Team Australia car is involved as well. Simon Pagenaud. They're going to have to tow those cars.
Will Power has had some of the best starts of the year. And wow, what a crushing blow.
So Gomedy never could get fired up. Heylen is still stuck, and both of the Aussie Vineyards cars failing to launch.
Certainly looked as though Sebastian Bourdais got away early, but that was so dramatically emphasized.
Now Power and Pagenaud are 2nd and 4th for Team Australia, the Aussie Vineyards cars, the green cars. Remember that they didn't launch on the initial start. They were at the absolute tail end of the field, but through strategy and some smart race driving, they have gotten themselves to the top 5, and we'll see how the pit stops fall here. But for 4th, Wilson trying to track down Simon Pagenaud. Pagenaud in the Aussie Vineyards car, the green and yellow machine right in front of the CDW9 of Wilson.
And Wilson's got good drive here.
Took a look to the inside. Dornbos is next in line in the 14 car, the Ozjet machine.
And what Michael Cannon was trying to say in regards to Robert Dornbos, who, by the way, we call Bobby D for fun for his American racing name.
Bad Bobby D, I think,
Bad
right?
Bobby D, there you go. And wow, look at Justin Wilson in the center of the screen there. Big wiggle as this track starts to get wet.
Of course, it was Dornbos in front of Wilson that threw a scare into us a few moments back when he got up on the curbing and nearly went around. If you're Wilson, how hard do you press here?
Oh, you got to press really, really hard. But look, this is a gamble. Every time you come into this corner, when you go up over the top, you just don't know how much grip is going to be left.
Wilson, a rain expert. Remember, he's a native of England, loves driving in the wet. Probably not so much on slicks, though.
Wow, and it's coming down harder there now. This is looking good for Graham Rahal and Will Power. If it rained enough to where you needed rain tires, I don't think we've seen one car today on rain tires because you need a fair bit of rain. But if it turns out you need it, those guys are going to be in the catbird seat.
Well, I can tell you guys the hardest rain we've seen all day falling here in the pits
Will
now.
Power, he was 2nd. He spins off the racetrack, Cameron. Wilson still the leader. Pagenaud 2nd. Johnny is 3rd there in the Red Bull PKV car. Here comes Dornbos.
Dornbos is trying a little bit of the dry line, and a lot of other people, and Wilson went off.
For Wilson. Justin Wilson offline, loses the lead to Pagenaud, and now Power will go by.
I don't think you want to lead this race. The moment that you lead this race, everything goes wrong.
Look at how hard the rain, look at the rooster tails here on the backstretch. Pagenaud out in front. Coming up on 22 minutes to go.
And I've talked a couple of times about Simon Pagenaud may be the next Sebastian Bourdais, not just because Sebastian Bourdais gave him the opportunity, but he has really delivered the goods in his rookie year.
Cameron Steele.
I've caught up with Rob Edwards here on the radio with Simon Pagenaud. I almost made a confusion there, but after that start, you guys would have never thought maybe that you would have been in this position.
No, it's been a strange race with the weather changing, and again, an opportunity to try some different strategies, and Simon's executed everything we've asked him to do. We'll see what happens the next 20 minutes.
Are you guys on the radio with him much? Are you guys talking at all?
We're actually trying to leave him to focus. He's pretty clear on what he's got to do between now and the end of the race. And so I'm just trying to shut up and let him do what he needs to do.
We'll see if he can get it done.
Thank you.
The race leader, Simon Pagenaud, had a problem coming off the final turn. He went up through the grass, Jan. He gives up the lead to Robert Dornbos. Lots of rain.
Comes up to turn number 14. He's feeling a little bit of pressure from Dornbos, but it was on the brakes. Just as he turns it, you can see the right front wheel locks. Takes a ride around, just like we saw Sebastian Bourdais do earlier. What a crushing blow. I mean, that's a tough job when you're leading in difficult conditions.
Got about 10 laps to go, 14.5 minutes of racing left. And that vaults Dornbos and Bourdais back to 1 and 2 on the leaderboard. Pagenaud got back on the track to be 3rd in front of Johnny.
I'm here with Simon Pagenaud. What a great run. A heartbreaker, of course. What happened?
You know, first of all, we started at the start. So we had to do a different strategy, which was really good. I have to really thank Team Australia. The guys have been doing such a good job, you know. Both Will and I started at the start. And after that, you know, we had the rain and the car felt really good. So I passed Sebastian, which was really really good for me, and just did a little mistake because Dornbos was coming back. So had to brake later, and I couldn't do it at turn 14. So, but the car was really good, and we had a great finish for a rookie. So that's
all right. Thank you so much. Great run today, Simone.
Simone Pagenaud comes home in 4th. Bruno is 4th. Dan Clark and Tagliani. Tagliani up into 5th.
Someone lost a wing. It looks like it's one of the Team Australia cars lost a wing in turn number 3.
Oriol Serbia with a great run to the early lead. One of the cars in trouble back a little further. That might be Clark. Here comes Tag in that Tide Walmart car.
That's power behind him, so that means that Simone... Oh, look at this.
It's Tracy. He's got one of the Team Australia wings.
Oh!
Tracy clouts the wall with that wing caught under the wheel. Paul Tracy stay on. Gomendy. Big wreck on the racetrack. Big wreck here in Toronto. Graham Rahal's involved. He lined up 15th. We've got several cars stacked up on the short straightaway. Down into turn 3.
There's a contact. And see, Paul won't know it's there. Right now, Paul doesn't know that he's pushing a wing because you can't see over the nose of the car. You can see the tops of the tires, but you can't see in front. So Paul Tracy is pushing as hard as he can, and unfortunately, this front wing is probably... He has 2 more corners to go. It's going to get under the front wheel, and man, did him see. Now he'll start to say, what the heck is in front of my car? Blammo!
He locked up the brakes but had no steering. I'm guessing the left front wasn't in contact with the pavement there.
You saw sparks, which means that the wing actually got underneath the car and lifted it off of the road. As soon as you saw sparks, you knew it would no longer be contacting, and that was a huge hit for Paul Tracy. See, at that point, it's underneath the tires. It's lifted the car.
Oh, big air for Tristan Gomendy.
Wow.
Gomendy nearly went end for end in the pay-by-touch 22 car. Simone Pagenaud, meantime, in the Team Australia Aussie Vineyards car on pit road. New nose on the 15 car. Pagenaud able to stay on the lead lap. Pagenaud 5th now in front of Tagliani in that black and red Walmart machine. Now, Power is your race leader for Aussie Vineyards.
Interesting tire strategies. We saw some people go for the red Bridgestone, some go for the blacks in these middle stints. You know, do you want to run fast or you want to save like we see Simone Pagenaud on the black Bridgestones? It's a case where, and Tagliani behind him as well. You know, you just kind of see if you can hang on and save your faster tires for later.
Yeah, save a set of those Bridgestone alternates for the last stint of the race. If it is a 3-stopper, this race will be run in 4 segments basically today. An hour 20 remaining. We're on lap 22 here. As we watch Tagliani trying to put pressure on Pagenaud for 5th position. Tag 8th, both at Mont Tremblant and Toronto. He was in position to have a great run at Toronto and got crossed up in the wet weather. Ended up tagging the tires. Did finish, but not where he wanted to 2 weeks ago in that Walmart Tide car.
Wow. And boy, did he hold that thing down trying to go. That's a flat-out chicane, 155 miles an hour. Looked like he got some push, and he was wide in that first part.
There's Simone Pagenaud for Team Australia, the Aussie Vineyard squad of Derek Walker and Craig Gore. Pagenaud runs 4th, and unofficially, if he can hang on to that, that should be enough to give Team Australia the Canadian Triple Crown Trophy. We showed you that Inuit carving that the winner will receive this first year of the Canadian Triple Crown. Pagenaud doing a nice job. You know, quietly, he was the Atlantic champion last year, Jan. Took the $2 million prize, brought it to Team Australia, where he had run in the Atlantic Series to Derek Walker.
Simon. 2 more laps. 2 more.
Earned the ride in Champ Car, and in my mind, he's doing just a phenomenal job. And I'm kind of unheralded, but he's been very smooth week in and week out.
Well, he's somewhat unheralded maybe in the press, but he's not unheralded here around the paddock. People understand that Simone Pagenaud, they're basically calling him the next Bourdais, and he turns out to be Sebastian Bourdais' protege, and boy, has he been delivering.
Well, indeed, we have the team that has won the Canadian Triple Crown. There you see Simone Pagenaud, who was able to bring the car home. He had to finish 5th or better. Indeed, he's finished 4th, and as a result, his team has been able to win the Triple Crown despite the fact that Will Power wasn't able to finish the race. And congratulations, Simone. A championship you probably didn't anticipate at the beginning of the year.
Well, yeah, of course. We just won the Triple Crown. Really proud for the Aussie team. You know, the team has been doing such a good job, and everybody has been working so hard. And the last 3 races we've been so consistent. So I'm just very happy for the team, for everyone. You know, they are very dedicated to what they do, and that's very enjoyable.
Unfortunate for Will, but at least you were able to bring it home where you had to. I
don't know what happened to it, honestly, but that's a shame. I think he would have had a very good result. But yeah, it's a good thing that I was able to bring it home, and I'm just glad for everyone, Aussie Vineyards and Derek Walker and Craig Gore. You know,
Simone Pagenaud brings home the Canadian Triple Crown.
Well, there's the reason for that Canadian Triple Crown win. Of 6 finishes, 5 of them were in the top 4. The only mark on that record, Power, who led laps today. But the problem with the brakes and steering rack render him 15th. But it was enough, certainly done on average finish among the 6. And Power able to get that 15th. Pagenaud in the top 5. And that is enough to give Team Australia the Canadian Triple Crown title. Now, the all-important Roche-Franz Rookie of the Year standings. Plenty of prestige and a lot at stake. Robert Doornbos has been the dominant player. Doornbos with that 11th place finish today, but he maintains that lead. It's done, of course, in concert with the championship standings. Doornbos in the title fight in the top 3 still, and he is the championship leader among the rookies for the Roche-Franz Rookie of the Year honors. Back to Rick DeBrule.
Coming down the short straightaway toward Redback Corner under the Aruba Networks Bridge here at San Jose. There's Gomendi in the pay-by-touch 22 car. Playing hurt again this weekend. They've padded up the seat for him. Remember, he did not get to run at Edmonton. Mario Dominguez drove the car at Edmonton. They had a motor problem. Dominguez exited and a move to the inside. Power taking a look on Bourdais. Pagenaud, rather, on the inside. Pagenaud taking a look at 6th position there, but had to back out of it. Bourdais into turn 2. Continues to run 6th. Power is 5th. Michelle.
Derek Walker, Team Australia. Obviously a crazy start to this race, and it affected everyone's strategy. What strategy are you guys on now to get to the leaderboard?
Well, we're trying to save as much fuel for a little while and then turn him loose. So we're just about in that zone where we're ready to crank it up.
And what Derek is talking about, thanks Michelle, is that they don't want to save fuel, obviously, for the entire race. They want to pick their moments. And I would say that this particular group, maybe less Gomendi, the way he just closed in so quickly, is that he may not be on that same strategy. But at some point, you save fuel so that you can then turn them loose later. And here they are side by side. Gomendi just slices right by Justin Wilson. Tight. Oh, contact.
That is Simon Pagenaud up in the air. Tracy is around. Dial goes into the gravel. Someone's lost a wing. 3 cars off on the backside, and we go full course caution on lap number 1 at Road America. And one of those brand new Mazda CX-9s. The Homatro safety team quickly there to help those drivers get pointed in the right direction. Now, Jan, before we came on the air, you and I talked about it. First, the look at what happened here.
3 wide at Simon Pagenaud coming up the inside. In fact, Ryan Dial saw him coming, but Ryan Dial went over. Paul Tracy was in the way, tried to give as much room as he could. Essentially, not enough room for 3 cars on the approach to turn 5.
Just before this caution period, and Simon Pagenaud not stopping at this point. Looks like he may be the restart leader.
And Simon Pagenaud's team was set up for him to stop. I have a feeling that there was some radio miscommunication, because when you see Graham Rahal and Sebastian Bourdais stop, who are both on different strategies, the fact that they both pitted means that they feel they can make it from the end here. They want to get back on the same strategy.
Mazda running over top of your screen. Green flag back out to begin lap 53. Just under 24 minutes of action to go. Pagenaud, Halen, Gomendi, Junqueira, Bourdais in the top 5. Very different pit strategies now for these front-running cars on board Halen. The graphic print team for Eric Bachelart's Conquest squad.
For those in the front, they just have to run like rabbits, because that's their only hope, is that the people behind are going to feel as though they're in fuel trouble, and they're going to have to slow down and save fuel. If they've got their calculations right and they're not in fuel trouble, these guys are going to fall well back in the order. But hey, just stand on it and hope for the best.
Well, according to the numbers I'm seeing, Jan, Simon Pagenaud and Jan Halen have only made 2 stops. They've got to stop one more time.
Oh, yes, they for sure have to stop, but they chose not to stop when everyone just did, thinking that there wasn't enough fuel to make it. So if they're right, it's a great call. But if everyone behind you can make it to the end after making those 3 stops, it was a bad call.
You're cooked.
Well, slightly.
Now, Bill Stevens, what about the Aussie Vineyard squad? They know they've got to bring Pagenaud pit side at least one more time.
Yes, and I'm with Derek Walker, who may have that answer. Will we see a pit stop pretty soon for Simon?
Yeah, unfortunately, radio communication went down and he missed his stop. So he's a bit out of sequence, not by choice. It was an accident. So, yeah, he'll be in soon.
And, guys, when you take a look at the top 4 drivers here, they're all international drivers, and the top 3 are from this area of the world. So the fans certainly are getting their money's worth today.
Simone Pagenaud, we heard from Derek Walker. Radio communication had been lost, and that's why that Pagenaud missed his pit window a few moments earlier, gave up the lead. This was just a few seconds ago, stopping for fuel only, enough to get him home for the last 7 or 8 laps of racing here today. So Bourdais and Pagenaud continuing to run nose to tail, now 6th and 7th, with Clark giving up 5th via that pit stop on lap 64.
Now, it's not bad. With no power to pass, and you don't want to take any chances, that's not a bad run for Bourdais.
Well, if I were the gendarmes here at TT Circuit Austin, I would be looking at drivers like Neil Johnny, Pagenaud, Ryan Dial particularly. They're the drivers who have used a lot of the 75 seconds that were originally allotted coming in today by the Champ Car World Series. The power pass time is usually 60 seconds. It was extended to 75 because it's based on the length of the circuit and the length of the straightaways. The extra 50 horsepower on tap, though, but that went away early. Teams were notified very early in the race, don't use the button. And as we have noted, there are at least 3 drivers we can see that apparently didn't get the word. So we'll find out more following the conclusion of the Champ Car Grand Prix of Holland here today. Neil Johnny there in the Red Bull car for PKV Racing, running 5th. Tristan Gomedy is 6th.
For a moment, I thought we were going to go for a 3-way dive bomb.
Let me check that. Neil Johnny is 5th, Pagenaud is 6th, and then Bourdais is 7th.
Now, Sebastian Bourdais knows that there's not a lot of difference in points paid from 7th to 5th, but you still got the racer in you. And you're thinking, I'm sure I can figure out some kind of way to slice by these guys, but you have to be cautious. He's got a nice lead in the championship. No reason whatsoever to take some chances. But, hey, the bigger lead you have going in the final 2 races, better shot you have.
Well, we talked to Sebastian Bourdais about a variety of issues before the start here today, and one of the things he pointed out was it is their championship to lose, and he needs to be cautious. Now Bourdais taking a gamble here, trying to drive to the outside and get up alongside Pagenaud and make a move, but he was not able to do it there.
Pagenaud took a little bit of the middle of the racetrack there. That's surprising. Is he going to?
Oh, here he goes! Out, breaks him, knocks a coat over, goes off the racetrack.
But he's going to have to give that position back. That's the shortcut rule. And here comes Serbia. Serbia now. That may not have been a good move for Bourdais. He's lost momentum, and he's got a hard-charging Serbia and his teammate Rahal behind.
Less than 2 minutes to go. 66 laps complete.
Last year, Team Australia took themselves to a championship, and the Cooper Tires presents the Champ Car Atlantic Championship, powered by Mazda. This is the gentleman who won it, Simone Pagenaud. Now in Champ Car, Simone, tell us about your first year. How well do you think it's gone?
Well, I think it has been a very good season. We performed really well. We had a couple of top 4, and we always qualify in the top 6. So I'm very proud of the Aussie Vineyards program. I'm glad to be in this program, and I think, you know, Team Australia has been very strong at Surfer Paradise, and it's great. It's a good result for us.
No question, it's Simone Pagenaud as he gets his instruction from the pits. He's turned a lot of heads. He's definitely made a statement here in the Champ Car World Series. A lot of people saying that he might be the next Sebastian Bourdais. Of course, Sebastian Bourdais was the person who made the phone call to Derek Walker, who gave him the shot in the Atlantic Series.
Now Pagenaud right now showing 7th for the Aussie Vineyards team. 4th, his best finish of the season. He did it at all 3 Canadian venues in the middle of the summer. He's got 5 top 5s total. This is the 13th start in his Champ Car World Series career. Move on the racetrack to the inside. This is Pagenaud on David Martinez. Pagenaud taking 5th away in the Aussie Vineyards car number 15.
And he used
rookie contender,
He used a bit of power to pass just at the very end. I think that's the way to go. I think when you get close to someone, you wait till the end of the straightaway to use a bit of it, because if you used it the whole distance of the straightaway, you lose obviously that many more opportunities to use it later.
Alex Tagliani pitting the PBS Securities 8 car below us as we watch this battle. Martinez in the Forsyth Index 7 machine. Looked like he wanted to try to come back on Pagenaud in the twisties there, but it's hard to do that once you give up that momentum.
Martinez had a tough time staying with Paul Tracy. We built that up to see how the two compared. And once Paul Tracy recovered from his big wiggle in the final corner, it's just a case where either he or the setup or the car or his pace just wasn't quite up to Paul Tracy's, and Pagenaud smelled that, took advantage.
Now, Tracy has only used 11 seconds so far of Cosworth power to pass time, which is worth an extra 50 horsepower here, 100 horsepower total. Something Champ Car's trying perhaps to use full time in 2008. This is the battle between Pagenaud and Martinez. Last lap speed's pretty comparable, but Pagenaud starting to drive away from Martinez there in the Forsyth Index car number 7. Pagenaud in the Aussie Vineyards 15, the yellow and gold machine. Left of your screen as they come down this long front straightaway.
You love to hear that. Use lots of fuel, go fast. All right, excellent.
Race car drivers don't need much encouragement usually in that regard.
And by the way, that was for David Martinez. We'll see how he responds.
We take a look back at Simon Pagenaud now, who runs 5th after having gotten by David Martinez. I'm wondering if Will Power's wrist might be bothering him a bit now.
It might be, but I think it's a case where Sebastian Bourdais was saving something and just, at the moment, has more pace.
All right, let's get an update on Pagenaud's situation. Let's get it downstairs.
Well, you know, we've made much about Will Power's wrist injury, but really underneath the radar since Cleveland has been Simon Pagenaud's right wrist. He's got tendonitis, and it's very sore. So what are the odds of both Aussie Vineyards drivers having wrist difficulties? Obviously, Will with the more serious one.
Well, we know that Justin Wilson came about as close as you can get to winning this race with a broken wrist last year.
Good lap time, good fuel, -3 Tracy, +2 Martinez.
Something new for you here this weekend. Up to speed, a new way we're developing to track the progress of various competitors in Champ Car. Simon Pagenaud here behind the leader. You see where Bourdais is on the race course at the end of the short straightaway that takes you to the S's. Pagenaud just coming through turns 1 and 2, so a good gap back there from the leader, but that's kind of a read on track position between Pagenaud and Sebastian Bourdais right now. The gap last time was about 20 seconds in terms of time. A little further back, Paul Tracy in the 3 car running 4th, trying to hang on to that spot in front of Simon Pagenaud and the Aussie Vineyards 15. So Power, his teammate, is 2nd. Pagenaud is 5th. Been a good day so far for the Aussie Vineyards squad. Tracy, we thought might have something to get up and challenge for the win here today, but he's now 23 seconds behind Bourdais. He's got a lot of Cosworth power to pass left, though. Maybe he can use that to jump ahead a bit here in the remaining moments.
He may have to use that defensively, though, because it certainly appears, as you hinted to, that Pagenaud has got a lot of pace. Michelle?
In 14 races, Pagenaud got a best start of 2nd at Cleveland and a best finish of 4th place at Mont-Tremblant, Toronto, and Edmonton. He also led 19 laps during the season. Pagenaud ultimately finished 8th in the final point standings, which was 3rd place in the Rookie of the Year standings behind Robert Dornbos and Graham Rahal.